Alright, so welcome back, guys, and welcome to your first time here. I'm Vision here with Blind Entertainment, bringing you guys another video. Today I'm going to be giving you guys the titles and synopses revealed for episodes 5, 7, and 8 of The Walking Dead. I will not be going over episode 6. They did release the title, which is Who Are You Now? However, they did not reveal the synopsis, pretty much due to the episode after Rick's dying and Maggie's departure, apparently. So I think they're kind of keeping it close to the vest, and they probably won't reveal it until the episode airs. So for that reason, I won't be going over episode 6. But if you're interested in the titles for episode 5 and 7 and 8, as well with any other Walking Dead information, don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below and hit the bell icon. That way you don't miss any more Walking Dead content from me in the future. Now let's begin. First up, we got episode 5 titled What Comes After. Now, the synopsis for this episode reads, Rick is forced to face the past as he struggles to maintain the safety of the communities and protect the future he and Carl envisioned. Now, this is interesting. This is most likely what I've heard Rick's death episode. I know people are praying and hoping he doesn't die, but I've come to accept the fact that he most likely will die in this episode, and I'm very interested to see how he goes out. I'm presuming he goes out probably saving the people, as it says here, protecting them. I kind of hope that they give Rick like this big hero's death, and I feel like, in my opinion, I think that he should go out being killed by walkers, because I feel like you can't have him die by people, because then that person pretty much is invincible. They killed your big hero. You can't kill them so easily then, or they can't die in general. So I think that he has to die by a walker, because those are pretty much, they're always going to be there. They're always, in some sense, an antagonist on the show. So I think he has to go out by a walker bite. And I think, in my opinion, I kind of want to see Rick, suffering with the fever, and see him go out as like everybody else has gone out, succumb to the fevers, hallucinating, seeing Shane, Herschel, Sasha, maybe some other people that we don't know about. Hopefully, I'm kind of hoping that we get maybe Warrior or some other characters back. But I think he's gonna go out that way, and maybe I think Andrew Lincoln would be crazy not to come back and reanimate as a walker, and then having someone like Daryl put him down, or Michonne. I feel like when you're dealing with a show where you could turn into a zombie, come on, I think you'd want to become a zombie, and I think it'd be such an interesting thing to see Rick Grimes succumb to his wounds or walker bite and turn like everybody else. I think it'd be an interesting thing to see, and I kind of really hope that it turns out that way and he ends up reanimating. Plus, I really hope, I forget what song it is, but I think Andrew Lincoln also said he wanted a Johnny Cash song playing during his death. I hope that does happen. That'd be very cool, since, it is the last episode and his death episode, apparently. So I'm really hoping that is accomplished, and I am very excited to see how they end Rick's storyline. I think that this will either make or break the show, depending on how it goes. So, but I'm just come to accept this as a fact. No matter what happens, unless the show tanks horribly, I'm still gonna watch. It's not fair to the rest of the actors and the crew and everybody else who has put their time and money into making this show. I'm gonna still watch. The only thing that ever make me stop watching is if they like dramatically did something crazy and the show tanked. At that point, I'd probably say I'm done and not watch the show again. But I'm at least going to finish out the season most likely and continue on to see what goes on, especially with the new villains coming up. So that's my thoughts and predictions as to what's going to go on with this episode. Leave your thoughts and predictions in the comment section down below as to how you think Rick will go out and what will go on in this episode in general. Next, we got episode 7, apparently titled Stradivarius. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Now, the synopsis for this episode reads, Carol seeks out an old friend living alone in a wilderness teeming with walkers. Survivors make the perilous trek to a new home. Now, this is interesting. I feel like there's a couple possibilities where they could go here. With Carol seeking out an old friend, I feel like it either has to be Daryl. After Rick dies, he goes into hiding and becomes like a loner in the wilderness and something like that. I don't know. I'm interested to see what goes on there. Second possibility, which I doubt it will be, is Morgan. He's the only other real friend Carol's ever had. and I've always been hoping that they've been keeping it under wraps that he is returning this season, and they can easily explain it like that. He was with a group of people, and he got separated, and he came back here, and that way we could even still get some references to the Fear cast maybe, and we get a little like exposition. Even though I know people hate that, but he could just say, "Oh, I met up with some people, we got settled up, and then eventually I decided to come back," and then that could be kind of season 5 story arc. Is we know that information, we're interested, so we come back, and that's the information we want to know. But I doubt it's Morgan, even though I really hope he comes back. I wish he was coming back, but I know he probably won't be coming back. But I think that'd be interesting for the show at least, and to see that Morgan reintegrated with the group after Rick's death. I'm just very sad that we're not going to see Morgan with this group anymore following Rick's death. That's something I'm very upset about. As for survivors make the perilous trek to a new home, that could be a few things. Now, first off, it could be maybe Magnus group is introduced in episode 6, which I think is that correct, because if you look in a trailer when Gabriel's interviewing them, he asked them, "Who are you now?" The exact same title as episode 6, so I think that's now no coincidence. Magna most likely definitely will be introduced in episode 6. So I think that's maybe they don't go right away to Alexandria like in the comics. Maybe they're out in like this wilderness area being interviewed there, or maybe Hilltop or something, and then they decide to go back to Alexandria, and that's the perilous trek. My second option would be that maybe it's the Saviors. Now, if you go back to episode 1, they mentioned that the crops are dying, nothing lives there, they can't sustain themselves, so maybe they decide to say, screw it, let's move out of here, we'll integrate into new communities, and some go to like the Hilltop, some go to the Kingdom, some go to Alexandria, Oceanside maybe. Oceanside and the Hilltop are iffy due to the relationships they might have between Maggie and Cindy, so that's a iffy situation there. But another third possibility, again, this is very iffy, but it could, again, if Morgan is back on the show, maybe he's brought the Fear cast with him, and it's them making that perilous journey to a new home. Again, I give that like a 2% chance of actually happening, and I doubt it's going to happen. Those are my options there. Again, I'm interested to see what goes on. Going back to the Saviors making their way to a new home, if you watch the previews for upcoming episodes, you see Maggie with a gas can. I know people have been saying, "Oh, she's gonna go and attack Negan," but what if instead of that, she goes and burns down the sanctuary or something like that? I know that's like a far stretch, it might sound crazy, but what if she burns down the sanctuaries to get rid of that memory of the Saviors and take matters into her own hands and do something like that? I know that sounds like crazy and like insane, but I think that'd be something interesting, and maybe then after that, they move to the new home. Again, that's iffy due to the fact that there's rumored to be a second time skip of up to 5 years. So that's a very iffy situation. So I'm not totally sure on that part. But what's your thoughts and predictions for this episode? Who do you think is the old friend Carol seeks out? And who is making the perilous trek to a new home? Leave those thoughts and predictions in the comment section down below. Last, we got episode 8 titled Evolution. Now, the synopsis for this episode reads, a small rescue mission braves a dangerous herd in their hunt for a missing comrade, only to discover a surprising threat that could doom them all. Now, right away, I'm going to go into the comic spoilers, so if you don't want to know that, definitely stop watching here. But right away, I think this is introducing, I think at this point we're already going to be introduced to the Whisperers to an extent, but it's going to be a mystery. I think episode 6 is where you got Rosita and Eugene, and you from the trailer, and you see them run down and hide in the mud in the embankment. And that's happens in episode 6, maybe episode 7, they get maybe found and captured. I think maybe episode 6 ends with Magnus saying, "Don't move," something like that. Episode 6 maybe will not come back to that and leave it out as a cliffhanger. I don't totally like that idea, but I think that'd be an interesting one to do. Then we come back for episode 8, and they send out the rescue mission. Carol and Daryl are back, maybe, and they come together, decide to form a rescue mission to find Eugene and Rosita. They go into the perilous trek, find them. Someone is injured, like Aaron, and I feel like it ends probably. I don't know how they'd end the episode. This is an interesting one for me because I'm having a hard time figuring out where it'll end the mid-season. They're not going to do the heads on pikes. I think they're going to save that till the finale of the season, but I think this one could end me. I don't think it's going to end with Alpha arriving at the hilltop and ripping off her skin. I think that's going to happen in the second half as well. I think maybe it ends with, like, maybe they find them, rescue them or something, and it ends, like, with, if you're in the comics, you got Dante saying they spoke or something, like, freaking out, like, I think it might end something like that, where, like, they end it where, like, Alden or something comes back with the rescue mission, is like freaking out because he's like they can talk now or something like that. I think it's gonna end something like that, like where they're saying like the walkers have like evolved or something. They're talking now or something like that. I don't know. I think that'd be an interesting way to end it, and I think it'd be a good cliffhanger enough where, like, you don't need to reveal everything about the Whispers right away there, but you can at least give us enough information to hold us over for 2 months for the show to come back in February. I think that's a good way to end the first half of the season. You got that new threat out there. Comic fans will know what it is, and TV fans will be wanting to know what it is. So I think it'd be definitely something that will hold the viewers' attention long enough for the show to come back in February. I think it's definitely a good possibility to end it that way. Again, it just all depends on how they handle the show following Andrew Lincoln and Warren Cohen's departure. If they can sustain themselves, it'll be a good enough thing to hold fans over. If not, it could doom the show even more. I'm holding out hope, though. I think I'm trying to stay positive, and I think if they do it correctly, it could easily hold the fans over until the mid-season premiere and give the fans something to wait for and something excited to see when it comes back in February. But leave your thoughts and predictions as to what you think will happen in the mid-season finale in the comment section down below. So yeah, guys, those are my thoughts and predictions for The Walking Dead episodes 5, 7, and 8 titles and synopses. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and share. And don't forget to subscribe down below and hit the bell icon. That way you don't miss any more Walking Dead content from me in the future. It has been Vision here with Blind Entertainment, and I'll see you next time.